This podcast contains strong language and adult themes.
Hello, and thanks for listening to Because You Watched, the podcast that comes up with brand new ideas for TV shows and movies. My name's Rory, and I'm a producer. It'll be my job to identify an underexploited video-on-demand category and gather some creative people to brainstorm some ideas. Will we come up with the next big thing? I mean, yeah, sure, why not? Joining me for this creative explosion is writer and comedian Micheal Stranney, writer and comedian Odedra, and YouTuber Becky James, aka Bambino Becky. The category that we decided to give you guys today is Sentimental Animal Tales, which is a real category on Netflix, has exactly one title in it, called Benji. Oh, Netflix apparently saw Benji and were like, we need a category for this. Sentimental Animal Tales. That's what they went with. Benji is a story about a determined dog who comes to the rescue and helps heal a broken family. Oh. So that's what's already out there on the market.
That's the top line idea. So we've basically come up with ideas to fit Sentimental Animal Tales.
Yes.
First of all, did anyone watch Benji?
I did watch Benji. I thought it was really, really sweet and really emotional, and it really made me want a dog.
Wasn't he cute?
He was so cute. He had the floppiest ears, and they were both dipped in black at the ends. I've never seen ears like it.
Dipped-dyed ears.
He was a cute dog.
He had balayage on the ears.
I didn't expect to like it.
You didn't?
No, because I hate animals. I'm not. I think there's too many of them.
There's too many.
And they smell.
Yeah.
I did wonder though. It's always about all these movies are always about either cats or dogs. They're never about like I would have liked to have seen a film about like a stray wasp. Like these kids befriend like a stray wasp. And they take it home and they wash it and they feed it.
Oh.
And then the mother comes in and is like, oh, look, we're not keeping it.
Just squashes it with a shoe.
We're not keeping it. I've got money's tight enough as it is.
Another mouth to feed.
Another mouth to feed.
Yeah,
that's the B movie.
Yeah,
that's true. B movie, yeah, that's true. But wasps are a bit more aggressive, aren't they?
Yeah. No,
they're not really family friendly.
Not a fan of them. I say wasp, not wasp, by the way, because I'm from Wales.
Wasp?
Yeah, so I said wasp, and it felt weird. Felt foreign. I was scared. What's your big idea, pal?
Yeah, let's hear it, man.
So basically, it's about a lawyer who is hired by the council to defend themselves against an animal charity, who are threatening to sue them or close the city zoo. And on his journey, he falls in love with one of the penguins.
Oh.
He's like this hotshot lawyer. Like, look, I think Nicolas Cage would be the lawyer. He's like, look, Nicolas, and they call him Nicolas as well.
Of course, yeah.
Hi, Nick. Can you help us defend us against? We're being brought to court by PETA, who want to sue us and close the zoo over the city zoo because they think we're being cruel to the animals, which we are. So but we need you to defend us.
So that's the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals. It's not someone called Peter.
No, yes, it's just to be clear. Yeah, so
is Nicolas Cage is being hired by the council?
By the council.
Do we see the council at all, like as in the representatives at all?
Yeah, there'll be a scene maybe where he goes in and they're like, they're sitting in a room.
But it's like Nicolas Cage's story.
Nicolas Cage, yeah. So he goes to the zoo. He's sort of like, sort of seeing what he can. What's likely that he's going to have to defend. Yeah. And he's sitting there on the bench and he looks over and this penguin is
looking mighty fit.
Looking at him through the penguin enclosure. He's like, okay, I'll go over and say hello. And he goes over to the penguin.
And make a move.
And he's eating his sandwich and he's eating his tuna sandwich and he's like, do you want? Like they obviously can't communicate.
Yeah.
And the penguin is like, he thinks he's looking at his sandwich, but he realizes. He follows the penguin's eye line, and the penguin's actually looking at his crotch. He's thinking, what? This is weird. Anyway, he doesn't think any more of it. He goes away, but this penguin keeps running through his mind. He can't let go of this penguin. And he goes to the library, and he pulls out this spell book, this magic spell book about from the library, and because he finds a chapter on how to speak to penguins. So he goes home to his kitchen and he sort of makes up this spell, follows the spell about how to speak to penguins, and he goes to the zoo and he drinks it in front of the penguin. Calls the penguin over.
Drinks the potion.
Drinks the potion. But he's obviously done the spell wrong because he turns into a penguin.
Oh,
And now the zookeepers come out and go, what the hell's a penguin doing outside of the enclosure?
chuck him in.
Get him inside.
Oh,
So
bloody
he's now he's inside the penguin enclosure with this other penguin. And then they really hit it off. They're flirting together, they're swimming together, they're feeding together. And they I think maybe we'll have a scene maybe where the zookeeper comes in, like, and he's treating them really badly. He's kicking the penguins and stuff.
Oh, kicking them? Why?
And he's spitting at them and stuff. And he calls over. So let's say I think the penguin, his love penguin's called Betty. He calls over Betty, and then he just slaps Betty over the head with a fish.
Oh no! Right.
So Nicholas, as the penguin steps in, is like,
Don't touch
don't
Betty.
Don't touch my bird.
Don't touch my bird. And he like.
It tries to square up
What
with
does
him.
yeah,
Now
what does
he's
he do as a
penguin
penguin?
size.
I think in my head he had like did like a roundhouse kick and knocked the
He's got
zookeeper
very
out.
short legs, a penguin.
Well, yeah, and
I thought you were gonna say, like, penguin chest.
and Betty is like, oh my
Pigeon
god, this guy's amazing. So that's when you go full steam into the penguin sex scene.
Oh gosh.
But it's like really tastefully shot, really tastefully
What a
shot.
sentence.
And it's like,
Penguin sex.
and they're like, you know, they've built up. There's a lot of love and like tension between them, so that's all released there.
Is it sort of like Top Gun, like?
Yeah, I'm not sure of the certification of this, but we might see a little bit of penguin side boob, maybe more. I don't know. But anyway, so the next day,
We'll see
like
what
they're
we
on
get
cloud nine. Cloud nine. There's like he's like, this is amazing. I've found love, but the spell wears off, and now he's back into.
During the sex
Nicolas
scene.
Cage.
Nicolas Cage, a naked Nicolas Cage humping a penguin, right? And all these school kids are like screaming, like, "Oh my god!"
Why do you have to involve the kids?
Well, they were there on a school trip. They were like it wasn't their
It's not
fault.
Stranney's
It's-
fault. Like, they were just there.
Yeah,
doing it in
and
the
Nicolas,
open.
he's like, "You don't understand, so you don't understand." So he's like instantly arrested. He's like loses his job. He's thrown into prison. Like, so you think that's it? That's the oh my god.
I thought you were going to stop there and be like, oh, before that anyway, and say, oh, but then Peter do end up closing the zoo,
Well, this is
and
the
they
thing.
become separated.
No, Peter do end up closing the zoo
So
without his help.
Nicolas-
And Nicolas Cage is in prison.
It's in prison.
But Peter end up closing the zoo. So the zoo's closed and all the,
Why is he in prison?
so he's in prison for indecently
Indecent
exposing
exposure,
himself.
Yeah.
I mean, you
See.
could say he can defend himself as much as he likes, but he's not coming out of it. He's in any way, shape, or form.
Penguin
It's-
potions does not hold up in court.
It's not going to
Yeah.
hold up in court.
Yeah.
So Peter closes the zoo. All the animals are freed.
To walk the streets.
Yeah,
Whales
they're
are
freed
bopping
into
around.
New York City, right? So they're freed.
Oh,
Yeah.
nightmare.
Now the penguin is
Nightmare.
like depressed. All the animals are like amazing. This is great, but the penguin's depressed. It walks along the
Betty.
street. Betty, sorry.
Yeah, please.
It hears a flute being played, and she remembers that Nicholas was a really sort of talented flute player.
When would you have heard Nicholas play the flute?
Well, I left this out. He was an amateur flute player, but he's really good.
So hold on. So when would the penguin Betty have ever heard Nicolas Cage
Well-
playing the flute while he was eating a tuna sandwich before
Well,
he
yeah.
turned
So
himself
before,
into a penguin?
so that bit. Sorry, I missed out the bit before he goes to the library to find the spell book. He visits the penguin every night and sort of plays Betty the flute.
Right.
And that's the only way
Oh,
he can
yeah,
communicate
that
is through
Okay.
music.
Of course.
Meanwhile, she's just
of
staring hard.
It's crotch.
so
I've lost it. I'm sorry.
He's playing beautiful music and she's just staring at his crotch.
it's just
This is disgusting.
it is disgusting. But
Can confirm it is.
But it is in the same way, it's love, it's true love. So anyway, she's wandering the streets and she's like really depressed. She hears this flute being played. She follows the music and like is now standing outside like this, the grates in the pavement and the bar grates. So he's down in the drain.
sewer.
He's down in like this basement cell playing this flute. And she's like, oh my god. And they try and communicate, and he's reaching up and like he's put his fingers through the grate and she's just sort of rubbing her face against it and like trying to lick his fingers and stuff, like just some form of contact.
Did their tongue stick out that much?
I think Betty's is good. Well, maybe, I don't know. I think hers is quite long.
She's got
Long tongue.
Long.
No, I can
Tongue,
confirm
Betty.
penguin tongues can get out there.
Yeah.
They can.
They
Thanks,
can,
Rory.
okay. So anyway, then she goes and gets she gets help from the other animals, like the elephants and the gorillas, and then they rip off the grill and set Nicolas Cage free. And then they're reunited, and then the last section of the film is just about Nicolas Cage fighting the system to allow him to marry the penguin. So he takes the city council to court.
Wow.
So he turns against his former
He turns
employees.
against his employers to let him marry the penguin. And, does he succeed? I don't know.
How long
Leave it
does
up
Oh,
to
so
you
we
guys.
don't even know. Actually, all
Yeah.
of that, you're not even.
You
gonna
leave it on a
give us-
cliffhanger. So
Oh my God.
the jury goes. So the judge goes, okay. Jury, do you think it's okay for Nicolas Cage, his full name is the same as his character, to be able to marry this penguin? And then the guy stands up and goes, we think, and then it's end.
Oh,
What's the runtime on this film?
How is that an ending?
I think I just like I don't know, 2 hours 12, something like that.
can I just say, I'd had a pint,
Ah.
just one. That's all it took, and it just came out. And I just read it now, and
Did
well,
the idea just come out or something else?
Let's hear it. I'm sure it's gold.
okay, sorry. Right, so it's called I Let the Dogs Out.
Oh.
I'm the main character. I'm completing my Duke of Ed gold in the film. You know what that is, yeah?
Yeah.
They
I
would-
didn't really quite get that at school.
Oh.
So can you just explain what the
All
Duke
right,
of
so it's
Edinburgh is?
basically when you go for a walk with a bag,
Oh.
but for a couple of days,
And then
like
you get
camping
gold?
and stuff. You do bronze, silver, gold.
Oh, brilliant. So
Gold
is
is
it
a big
determined
deal.
with like distance the further you
Yeah.
walk? Okay, cool.
Oh, well.
Cool,
Okay.
cool.
So there I am walking through a forest, and I stumble upon a dog pen in the middle of nowhere.
Oh.
Like a big dog kennel, and I'm like, well, these dogs are in hell of a state. They're not in the best nick. So you know what I did?
What
you
did
know
you
what I
do?
did? I went all the way back down the mountain to the nearest Tesco Express, grabbed some pedigree chum, walked back up the mountain, fed the dogs.
Other
Yeah.
dog foods are available.
Oh
of
yes,
course.
sorry. TM. So then I managed to let the dogs escape,
Mhm.
Lovely.
and
A bit reckless and irresponsible, but carry on.
it's very
Poor
dramatic.
pet owners
Those,
coming back.
those dogs could be criminals. They
Where
could be
am
looked up for a reason.
No,
Yeah.
they were crying. Oh,
Foaming at the mouth.
pity.
Yeah.
So then I complete the Duke of Ed with a good 50 hounds following me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a bit like the Von Trapp family off Sound of Music. That's what we look like.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
So
Oh,
and nice ending. I end up getting this is
Oh, no.
so bad. I end up getting my gold Duke of Ed certificate, and lo and behold, so do all the dogs.
Ah.
Oh, that's
And,
But to be fair, that's cheating because they didn't do the whole walk.
No,
They-
they basically do, you know. And
Yeah.
then we meet the Queen, because that's what you do when you get your Duke of Edinburgh.
You do? You
Tagline.
meet the Queen?
Yeah, or the Duke of Ed if he's available.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And the tagline is, a happy little tail, so happy it wags.
Lovely. Right,
That's-
so
Love it.
I have
Yeah,
a couple, I have
sorry.
a couple of questions.
Yeah, I
so
can tell. He's giving me the eye right the whole way through.
it needs more
Yeah,
like
drama.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
What's
just,
so
it's just
at the
you
moment?
and
At the
dogs.
moment, you've gone for a walk. You've found this these dogs.
Yeah.
and,
You
fed 'em.
You've given them some pedigree
Yeah.
chum, and then
Other birds
you've
are
opened the pen door, and they've
come out.
followed you to finish the walk.
yeah. A long walk to freedom.
People give you gold.
I mean, yeah.
Are
but
there at
needs
least
to
like
be-
a babbling
the-
brook that you have to jump
Like,
across or
is-
something a little bit?
There was a bridge. There was.
Okay.
Yeah. And it snapped.
oh.
But we made it across.
Okay, there you go. She's had some drama there. She
Does the
didn't
guy?
explain
So
that.
maybe can the guy who's got the who's
Oh, he was
like
following us.
maybe he's
Hot on our
maybe he's like
heels.
tracking you or something. So he's like some weird guy that is hoarding all these dogs.
Yeah.
And
This is so terrible. But it will be good.
It's effectively
no,
a
no, no.
jailbreak movie at that point.
and
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
go you discover them and then you break them out. I don't think it's as easy as opening the door,
No.
opening the pen door. I think it needs
Come
to be.
on, guys.
You probably have to break them out somehow.
Well,
Yeah.
you're a locksmith as well, so you can just bust that bad boy
Either a
open.
locksmith or a good tunnel digger, perhaps.
Ooh. Well, I mean, that adds a lot of... Like, if this movie's going to have you digging for 30 minutes to get into a dog pen, that's a lot of the runtime already done.
Yeah, that is true. You could speed it up in edit.
We could, yeah. Could do like a before and after. Like
Christ.
you at the top and then in the tunnel.
And why is he got these dogs? Like, is he
He's
like
he's a dog breeder. Oh.
he's a dog,
Oh.
One of them.
or maybe maybe the dogs are like the banned animals, the dangerous dogs,
Yeah.
and but you actually managed to tame them. He's breeding them for dog fighting.
Yeah.
Well, you see, now that will add some sentimentality. Because if you've got these dogs, these are
it's
proper
not-
bad boys.
Yeah, I only thought it was sentimental because they got a certificate.
You
but
make them, you make them soft, and then
Yeah.
they're like, but there's no benefit to being soft. And they get their award at the end, and they're like,
Oh.
actually.
So you rescue them, and then they're like, no, these dogs need to be destroyed because they're dangerous dogs. And
Yeah.
you're like, no, we've been on a real journey, and they listen to you. But whilst you're telling them how amazing these dogs are, one of them is like biting the hand off the reporter. Like,
But
no, that's a
yeah.
one-off. I promise
Yeah,
that is a
no,
one-off.
he's a straight.
Yeah.
It won't happen again.
It won't happen again.
He's a rogue one.
Honestly.
Yeah.
What if we added like some terrible weather? Because I'm feeling like this is all very sunny and really nice.
Yeah,
a
bit of
nice little
thunder.
walk. But yeah,
We're all in a tent
what if
as
it's
well.
pouring down with rain and these dogs are all looking up, but they've got the cones on, and it's like that's where it gives you a bit of a time constraint. Like,
Oh my
quick,
god, the
they've
cone's
got the-
filling up.
Oh
yeah,
my
the cone's filling
God.
up with water, and you've got to save the dogs.
Mm.
Yeah, all
Maybe
right.
that. Add a bit of urgency to this.
Can you have a dog that was like maybe stolen from stolen from you as a kid, and then you come to the
there's
forest
the
and then
sentiments.
you see it again, but it looks different because it's like missing a leg and an ear, and it sort of
And then
like,
it-
looks a bit battered.
Yeah, the story
You're like-
continues and then
and you're
suddenly, yeah.
and you're like, Rocky, is that Rocky? Rocky, it's me, and he's looking at you, and then
Woof, woof, yeah.
and it's all a bit like traumatized.
Mm.
And you rescue it, and in the process rescue all these other dogs.
Oh.
Yeah,
But then the guy who's captured them
it's chasing you.
is chasing you,
There we are.
and he's
There you
like,
I'm glad we got you
Give me
two.
back my dogs. You know,
back
they
my
go
dogs.
on and
At the end, he can have all the dogs back except your dog, and you're
yeah.
like, no, I'm not leaving them behind. I'm not going to take my dog. I've grown to love these dogs as well.
Yeah.
They're all my dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you go back to the
You
town.
go back and
And then all these dogs are running past you, and then all the owners, like, remember the end of Goonies, where all the parents are there waiting to collect their
Ah,
kids.
it can be all
you
the-
come into
yeah.
town, and all of the dog owners are like, oh,
they bite a few people.
oh, so this guy
Husky
has
or-
stolen everyone's dog.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
This
Like
guy's
the
stolen
Grinch,
everyone's
but
dogs.
like dogs.
all right.
luring them out of town with sausage rolls and stuff.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
like beating
Yeah.
them up and stuff, and
Oh yeah, so basically I don't need to do my Duke of Ed.
yeah,
Yeah.
well,
That's
that was
just a
bit-
bonus.
You just out for a walk.
Well, look,
Yeah.
if they're all going back to their owners, they've got a little sash on.
Oh.
I think
It's
you
even
still,
better.
maybe you could still meet
Yeah.
the Queen afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get like a
But
bravery
one of them attacks
award
the Queen.
instead.
One of them is like maybe your dog, Rocky or
Yeah,
whatever.
and that's
'Cause,
the ending.
Yeah, he just like attacks the Queen because he's
Aw.
like traumatized. And,
Have like a freeze frame and the credits roll,
yeah.
roll
Queen on
over
the
the
floor.
top of the Queen. Being bitten.
Amazing. Oh bless. There's room for a sequel there.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
What happens next? Now the Queen's got him locked up. How are you going to do that?
Ah, Buckingham
Number
Palace.
2. Yeah.
Fuming.
I still want to meet the Queen, so let's maybe not bite her just yet. Maybe we could
Okay.
maybe you
Yeah.
could lick her, and then there's
can
like
email her.
just a tetanus jab involved. That's it.
From licking her.
Well,
Bit of a tetanus moment.
maybe she rubbed her eye afterwards or something.
Okay.
And then we're like, oh, careful. But she's fine. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, we'll keep her in good health. She's a good egg.
Who do we think would play the,
The Queen?
dog catcher
Ah.
or the Queen? But also
the
I
dog,
can
the
pick
dog
Queen.
catcher.
You have to be like,
who's the guy? He always plays like weird sort of. He's
Johnny
got sort of
Depp.
big. He's got really big googly eyes.
Rami
Is it-
Malek.
Oh yes, him.
Remy,
Yes.
yeah.
Who's that? Like,
The-
what's he been in?
He's
Prince.
Mr. Robot.
Not Prince.
And
What's
he's in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh,
Oh no,
Freddie
I don't mean.
Mercury,
I don't
not
mean him. I
Prince.
mean he was in.
Yeah.
He was in Quentin Tarantino's. Let's go with Rami Malek.
Yeah.
Who's the guy in
He had
Split?
googly eyes.
Have you ever
He had
seen
googly
that?
eyes.
Oh,
Lovely eyes.
James
Yeah.
McAvoy.
Him, yeah. Him
Oh,
as
he would
well.
be good as well. He would be good as well.
Yeah.
He's terrifying. He scares me so much.
Are you
The
still
Queen,
playing?
do you
You're
reckon
still playing the.
Just get the actual Queen.
You know what? I think I could
the
do
name
the Queen.
game?
Oh.
I could actually be the Queen. Bit of
You reckon?
CGI. Could make it work.
Well, I mean, if we're going to do that, then why don't we just make Michael the dog catcher? Then we've got a full roster.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that's great. We'll have an in-house
Just
production.
CGI Rami Malek's face
Yeah.
onto mine.
I'll be the dogs.
Okay.
There is that thing that you could do now. What's it called? Like double facing or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah.
That's an actual thing. Double fade.
like face dubbing kind of thing.
Double fake. That's what it's called.
Deep fake.
Deep fake.
Deep fake. Double
So,
fake.
Let's just get
Deep
the
fake.
actual Queen, but then we can deep fake you onto it.
Yeah, deep fake me onto
Yeah.
it, and yeah, that'd be good.
So what was the title of the show?
You must bear with.
The title
Oh,
of the
there
show
we are.
is
Thank
I
you,
Let
sir.
the Dogs Out.
I Let the Dogs Out.
I like
Okay.
that.
It was me after all that.
I think it's great.
Cool. Okay.
Fantastic.
There's- Yeah, something there, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
No, not
Say like that.
No,
there's
'cause we're all-
something.
we've worked it
really
out. Like,
something.
what's the I just saying with all
Stranney,
the
you're not coming in the pitch. I'm not bringing Michael in the pitch.
Nasty little man.
Yeah.
A war has broken out between cat and dog lovers.
Oh god.
A cat and a dog then decide to get married to end this war between cat and dog lovers.
Ooh,
Because
Romeo and
you've always
Juliet.
got dog people because they
Yeah.
like the fact that dogs are like full of energy and really friendly. But then you've got cat people that are just like, they're just like cats because you can leave them and they can do whatever they want. But the cat and dog got married and they made a litter of cuppies.
So they're half dog, half cat.
Half dog,
Yeah.
half cat.
Okay.
So either didn't know whether to call them cuppies or pittons. And then how you say Christmas, dogs and stuff, pets aren't just for Christmas.
Yeah.
This year they were because it was the year of peace. So Christmas trees were like littered with like overexcited dats and cogs.
Cats and dogs.
Cats and dogs.
Nice.
Right. So to go. So what? So basically, there's a. Is it animated or is it live action?
I wanted to see if we could actually make a real cat and dog mate.
Yeah.
The world is sort of divided into cat lovers and dog lovers.
Yeah.
And then a cat and a dog, they find each other.
Yeah.
Their eyes meet through the gap in a fence. Because maybe obviously the neighbours, the human neighbours, didn't like each other. Like, oh, you're a dog lover, oh, you're a cat lover. But then they've always maybe had the hots for each other. And then the dog.
Yeah, well, maybe the cat. The cat from Coronation Street, just sort of the opening title to Coronation Street,
Yeah,
walks
yeah.
across the top of the. So maybe the cat is sort of walking across the top of the brick wall.
Oh, yeah.
Looks over and sees this sausage dog taking a shit. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, I quite like that dog. It's a fit dog. And the dog looks up and goes, "Oh, hiya." And then
Hey, cat.
cat. And they're like, we're not allowed to be talking to each other. And also, can you not look at me when I find it really hard to? I was like, sorry. Yeah, he looks away. Cat looks away. Oh, do they fall into like no man's land? The bit between the cat world and the dog world, and then that's
There's a little
Like an alleyway.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, where there's like shared
And
ownership.
they meet there
Yeah.
all the time.
That's where they learn to love.
Who would you have as a cat? Female voice.
You could have someone who's quite like, I know, celebrity Taylor Swift. Because she always comes across a bit of like
she's already acting as a cat
that's
in
why
a
I
new
thought
Cats
that.
movie.
She is, isn't she?
She's
Is
got
she?
the
Ah.
experience.
There's a conflict there, though. We want to make sure she's.
Yeah.
If you think of
Okay.
Taylor Swift as a cat,
What about like Angelina?
Angelina Jolie. Oh,
As the dog?
No, as the cat.
That's
Right,
the
what's
cat.
going on?
Well, I thought we settled on Taylor. I'm already getting in
sorry,
contact with her
sorry,
agent
sorry.
here.
Taylor's out.
Taylor's out.
Taylor's out. She's
She's
already
already
been a cat.
done
I'll let her know.
What about like an old sort of camp voice for the sausage dog?
Oh yeah.
Sort of like Paul O'Grady.
Oh yeah, he's got a good.
He loves dogs as well.
He loves dogs.
He does love dogs
So,
and
for
cats.
For the love of dogs.
Yes.
You know what I've just realised? Isn't there a film called Cats and Dogs?
Oh yeah, there is.
What's the storyline of that? Is that
I'll look up a synopsis
Ah,
of Cats and Dogs.
shit.
Dun dun dun.
Shit on it.
She was there last night, like, quick, cats and dogs.
There it is. He's got it up. Cats and dogs.
I'd be amazed
No.
if they form pittance though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There don't seem to be any pittance in Cats and Dogs. Cats and Dogs is the cats and dogs themselves fighting in a high-tech secret war that humans don't know about.
Oh, that
Okay.
is a pathetic idea.
Yeah, who
really
thought
weak.
of that?
Really weak idea.
Sacked.
Hello again. Just interrupting for a second to let you know that you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook by searching for You Watched Pod, where you'll find additional content, podcast news, and exciting updates on my quest for the next big thing. That's You Watched Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So we've had a completely amazing raft of ideas in the category of Sentimental Animal Tales. For a start, we've got Nim with Peace with Pittance, A Christmas Tale,
Ah, with an eye.
with a tail of an animal. Maybe the L can even be a tail.
Oh, nice.
It's a war between cat and dog owners. Then a cat and a dog get married to end the war at Christmas, and they make pittance.
Oh.
Yeah, that's lovely. What do we all think of that as in terms of the Sentimental Animal Tales?
It's
genre?
lovely.
More family friendly,
Yeah.
I'd say.
I think it's lovely. I
Yeah.
do.
I think it's
Definitely
really
a
heartfelt.
family one, especially if they're off screen when they die.
Yeah, definitely.
Just an off-screen yelp.
Next up, we've got Becky's idea with I Let the Dogs Out, which is Becky walking the Duke of Edinburgh walk, finding a pen of dogs and releasing them, being chased by whoever it was who captured the dogs, but eventually freeing them, completing the walk, being awarded the award at the end, as well as all the dogs, and all the dogs go back to their lovely homes at the end.
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's my favourite. I like the idea.
Yeah, I think there's something like a guy who robs all these dogs, captures them all, and then you go and find and rescue them. Basically, that's,
Yeah,
you know,
it's got
quite-
101 Dalmatians element to it.
Yeah,
It's starring you. Are you as yourself?
Yeah.
Yes.
May as well be.
Based on a true story?
Miss Becky as Nicolas
I wasn't going to
Cage.
say, but yeah. I'm joking.
Yeah.
It was a dark day in Wales.
Weirdly, it's all true, but you weren't doing the Duke of Edinburgh walk. You just made that bit up. Just add some drama.
Oh, yeah, just
The
add
rest
some-
is completely
Is
true.
it set
Spice.
in Wales? Is it set in Wales?
Oh, yeah, there's lovely mountains there. May as
Yeah,
well.
in the valleys.
In the valleys. Swansea.
So what do we think? Sentimental, guys? Feeling sentimental about that
It's
one?
quite
I really
it's
like
quite
that one.
sentimental. It's
I
got
think it's
animals,
really
it's got tails.
sentimental.
Yeah, ticks all the boxes.
got happy
It's got
ending.
loads of tales.
It's got
Yeah.
drama, it's got twists and turns,
Yep.
and it's got a lovely happy ending.
Then finally, last but not least, we have it's a story of a liar. Sorry, it's not a story of a liar. I wouldn't say such a thing about Nick Cage. It's a story of a lawyer hired by the council to fight an animal rights charity to defend a zoo. During the trial, he falls in love with a penguin, takes a black magic spellbook to learn how to speak to the penguins, becomes a penguin, is imprisoned for engaging in relations with said penguin when
Yeah.
the spell wears off, and then at the end, is he going to be allowed to marry the penguin? We just don't
Find
know.
out for the
Yeah.
sequel.
Yeah, find out the sequel.
In the
Excellent.
sequel,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then that's that. What do you think, everyone? Animal. It's an animal tale for sure. Sentimental. How are we feeling?
It's pretty sentimental.
It doesn't feel very sentimental to me.
I think when they probably like reuniting, that's quite sentimental. And, you know.
that's
That's true.
I
That-
mean,
Love is sentimental.
the flute prison scene. Definitely sentimental.
I mean,
Yeah.
I that's gonna, that's
I-
instantly gonna choke audience members
Yeah.
up, isn't it?
I think there's a lot of nice sentimental elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Nicolas Cage wearing off, when the potion wears off, and there's a bit of a traumatic scene for the kids.
Yeah.
There's not many sentimental movies with penguin sex in it. I mean, this might be the first.
Yeah,
Might be the first, yeah.
It's not penguin sex for very long till it turns into Nicolas
That's
Cage
true.
having intercourse with a penguin. I don't think we can actually make him do that. Can we? Or can you got in touch with
I can
Nicolas?
ask.
You can ask
It's all
him.
about the angles in it.
You know, you don't ask, you don't get. I can just ask him. He might be up for it.
I'd be up front.
It's all about the depth of
Okay,
perception,
guys.
I guess.
So, of the three ideas,
Yeah, I'm going to put my vote towards Becky's idea.
Really?
The running towards the...
I let the dogs out.
I let the dogs out.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I quite like the penguin one.
You
see.
quite like the penguin.
I also like the penguin one, but I'm not allowed to vote for my own.
No, you can't
so,
vote for your
Lots of
own.
bloody
so
does.
I would also go for the I let the dogs out.
So,
Okay.
Oh, no way!
so no one went for my Pittons idea.
I never
This
win
is
anything.
ridiculous.
This is an outrage. An outrage.
I'm an impartial party, but I like the pins.
Cheers,
Oh.
Rory.
No, that's all
Thanks
right.
a lot, mate.
That's all right. So I'll take I Let the Dogs Out, a semi-autobiographical tale by Becky about releasing dogs to their homes on the Duke of Edinburgh Walk.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic stuff. This episode of Because You Watch featured Odedra, Micheal Stranney, Becky James, and me, Rory Binks. It was produced by Joe Grace and Martin Trickey.